validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa, I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. Oh, look at that. The camera tilted like a son of a bitch. There you go. I'm trying to figure out why everything crooked. Oh, Lord. At least everything worked the way we wanted to work today. Okay, look. We're almost on time. We're about 10 minutes late today, earlier than what we were yesterday. So check this out. We're live 7 nights a week, and while we do not let the sun rise without going live, we don't always start on time, and that's why we ask you guys to like and subscribe, hit that notification button, mash those reaction buttons, and go check out the membership. Um, Different topics every night or week. We typically start on Sundays with questions and comments from the fans. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, business and politics. Yesterday being Monday, we talked about the third term possibility. We had a lot of feedback on that. The polls were wild. We ended up rounding off. Not too many people actually put their 2 cents into the poll, while they did put their 2 cents into the topic, and we ended up with like 80% that said no to the third term. Michael tried to vote twice, pulling a Republican move. um, so typically what we do is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, business and politics, and Monday is when we talk about how politics negatively impacts your ability to make, save, and invest money. But whenever there is political disarray, you can always turn a profit. So I always point out ways for us to make money off of the public disarray. Um, Tuesday today we talk about ways to make money, save money, invest money, budget money, different ways to think about money. And today we're talking about the second part of our two-part special related to the cybersecurity as far as your personal identity. So we want you guys to pay attention to this because I put the 5 free hacks to shield your identity from AI fraud into the membership. It gives us a list of things that you can do, and a lot of those things are free that you can do to start off with. So there's more than five, but there's 5 free ways that you can proactively monitor your identity and proactively remove information that doesn't belong to you, where the beginnings of identity theft would start to manifest to prevent yourself from being caught up in identity theft, and then allow yourself to curate um, your identity, your credit score, and everything to that effect. That's in the membership. Now, after that, on Wednesdays tomorrow, we give you guys information about different countries around the world that you can invest in, potentially go and live in. Um, we had a lot of people say yesterday that if Donald Trump gets a third term, that they would leave the country. That's what everybody said when he got elected the first time, that they would leave the country. And I've been giving them a list of places they can go. And a lot of them are 30% of the cost of the standard of living in America. Like, for example, I always promote the Philippines because the Philippines is number one for expat travel for multiple reasons. One, your foot in the door is a $24,000 a year income that you can prove that you are able to make while in the Philippines, whether it's a brokerage account, whether it's sales from offshore, whatever. As long as you are capable of proving that you are getting a $24,000 a year deposits into your Filipino bank account or Filipina bank account if you're a dude, uh, you're able to um, oh no, I had it right the first time. Filipino for the dudes and Filipino for the women. You were able to get your visa, your citizenship, your long term, whatever, and they have the rollover factors over there, so you can turn your extended stay from a 1 year stay to a forever stay, right? With very little effort, and with a moderate standard of living, middle class, upper middle class, being $2,000 a year, you can find you a fantastic place to live over there. And then as a man, you'll be able to find a traditional wife that is family oriented, goal driven, still modernized. So she'll get up, go to work, come back to the house, and take care of you anyway, as opposed to the Western women that will use the excuse that they have a job to not want to do anything for their man, and then use the excuse that they're a woman to be entitled to being kept and put on a pedestal while not reciprocating that same treatment. So, like, Philippines is number one. Yes, you can do Vietnam, Indonesia, Taipei, Thailand, Hong Kong, some of the other places over there, but like Hong Kong is almost as expensive as New York. However, some of the entry levels over there, like South Korea, good places to go to find that same type of family oriented woman. But some of those places have like a $72,000 a year entry point. Might be a little bit too expensive for some folks. So, like the go to, like there, if you qualify for food stamps in America, you qualify for middle class in the Philippines. So it's like there's different countries around the world that you can go to, and that's not the only place. Belarus, Bangladesh, Kazakhstan, Cambodia. We talked about quite a few places that very affordable, right? And that's what we do on Wednesday. We give you guys different places that you can go to talk to get that affordability. Now, after that, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we give you guys information about personal improvement, self development, relationship topics, um, negotiations, socializations, building your brand. We talk about raises, promotions, retirements, and severance package. Because you got your forced retirements, you got your ass is fired, like Vince McMahon kind of situation. And we really want to help you guys figure out how to build your brand, not just build your brand, but build your 20-year plan, your 20 or 30-year plan, where you plan on being at in 20 or 30 years, and see if this dynamic will put you in a position where you can make money for yourself so that you have money to live off of. That's the ultimate goal, getting money to live off of, right? Now, because once you figure out how much it costs to live the lifestyle that you want to live, then you have to look at what you got to do to get it. Reverse engineer that to a factor where you're in a position where you don't need and you got everything that you want, right? Or most of the things that you want. And that monthly cost comes at a cost. I know that some guys was asking me, oh, so how much does it cost to, how much money do you need to have in your brokerage account on the top end in order for you to have a monthly payment for X, Y, and Z? Well, that really depends, which is one of the things that we talk about on Tuesdays. Because if you're getting a 100% dividend paying brokerage account, it's a lot easier to have. If you're dealing with a primarily real estate investment trust brokerage account, that's very volatile, uh, short-term gain kind of situation, but it's big gains, not long-term growth, because the shares don't grow in value; they kind of stay the same. So you're just going to be getting a cash revenue scenario that you pay taxes on, and you can do that. You can have a 100% real estate investment trust scenario where you have like 3 or 4 different REITs. You're averaging out 20% from all your REITs, and then you continue to funnel those 20% values into your pocket, where you might have $100,000 worth of REITs. But I mean, if you got $100,000 worth of REITs paying you 20 grand, you pay taxes on that 20 grand, and that's going to be a standard rate because it doesn't have the um, the tax friendly deductions on it. Now, I did some calculations on some of the different options, because the ones where the corporate tax is paid by the company, so the shareholder doesn't have to pay those corporate taxes, those are the ones that sees the tax deferments, but the interest rate payout is lower. So while you get a higher dividend payout, you get higher taxation on it. The difference between the two, you still make more money over time, but you give less money to Uncle Sam. So you got to ask yourself, do I want to be all dividend covered, where I don't have to pay taxes on that money and get less money, but give Uncle Sam nothing? Or do I want to be rolling in the dough and just break him off on whatever I got to break him off on, right? It's all in how you decide to do it. But if you have a fully dividend paying portfolio, like some of the ones I put into the membership, you would find yourself with the type of portfolio that generates enough capital where, if you're doing 10%, 12%, 15% return on investment for every $10,000 you put into the bank, or not the bank, the brokerage account, you're looking at like $1,500 back on your return. Now, imagine that if you say, well, and that's for the year. So if you're saying, well, if I want $1,500 per month, then that means I'm looking at having to get like 15,000 or 18,000 per year. And when you start looking at it like that, you're looking at 18,000 per year. You're looking at 18,000 out of potentially 200,000 or 300,000, right? For that 15% or that 18%, right? Now, people don't think about that, but whenever you're trying to buy something, whenever you're trying to go towards something, if you think, well, I want that new whatever, whatever, and it's like a $300 a month payment to go get it. Cool. $300 a month payment to go get it. If you're looking at reverse engineering a $300 a month payment, you're looking at $3,600 a month. And depending on if that's a 10% return on investment or not, more or less, if it was on average a 10% return on investment, or let's say a 13% return on investment minus 3% for taxation, you know, you're looking at now saying that that's going to be upward of like 36 to 50 grand to get that $300 a month payment, right? So for those people who live broke, and I say it like that because if you're spending 5 grand on prom, 50 grand on prom, and you're thinking about how, fuck, that 50 grand on prom could have been giving me like $500 a year, that 50 grand on prom could have been giving me $5,000 a year. And at $5,000 a year, it would have been, you know what I mean, almost $500 a month, like 450, $500 a month. That would have been a revolving income. Even if I put that in a brokerage account for my kid's allowance, if I put the 5 grand or 50 grand or whatever into the brokerage account, and now the kid is getting like $400 or $500 a month back on that brokerage account, instead of me continuously giving my last $400 or $500 to this kid to do stupid stuff with, because you're not teaching kids financial responsibility, they would have a flat rate principal that will forever feed them that money, which means I no longer have to give them spending money. They can spend what they have or go get them a fucking job, and I can put the rest of my money somewhere else where I can make money for me. These are decisions that people don't do, and that's what I try to tell you guys on a regular basis. So, with that being said, that's one of the reasons why today we're going to be talking about these cybersecurity hacks. Because when you're stacking your capital, somebody finds out that you're stacking your capital, and somebody comes and tries to pull the rug from under you, and then they want to tax you on your capital gains. It's a problem. It really is. So here's the thing. If you imagine for a second, imagine a person that thought their smart speaker was their personal assistant, because that's what they teach you. Siri, Cortana, Alexa, Bixby, all of those personal assistants. It plays your music, manages your shopping list, and even tells you jokes. You see some people with those Siri that be trash talking them, and they be recording that to show how reckless Siri can talk to folks. Yeah. But then one day, after a minor car accident that wasn't even your fault, your insurance premiums go through the roof. And the reason? Your data profile, fed by thousands of little details about your life. It's going to flag you as a high risker. Yeah. Things like your frequent requests for late night high energy playlists, where they start being interpreted by an algorithm as a sign of potential sleep deprivation. Now, to be clear, there isn't a documented case of a smart speaker directly tattletaling on its owner to an insurance company. The reality is more complex and frankly more disturbing than you might think. So you don't have your equipment uh, spying on you in your home per se, but you do have a data fire hose that's going on. And in tonight's show, we're going to show you how you might have the same thing too. Now, you think you're just using convenient features, a saved password here and there, a voice command over there. You log in with Google all over the place because it saves you a few seconds, very instantaneous. You let your fitness app track your morning run because it feels motivating, and you ask your smart speaker to order more paper towels because it's easier. Each of these actions feel small, like a simple trade for a slightly easier lifestyle. But what if I told you that you aren't just making a trade? You're building something, piece by motherfucking piece, a clicker by clicker. You are assembling a weapon, and it's a digital profile of your every habit, your every vulnerability, your every quiet desire. And you are not the one who gets to wield that weapon. This weapon is being sold legally, matter of fact, to the highest bidder, which are advertisers, insurers, data brokers, political campaigns, and they are aiming it right back at you. Now, this isn't a dystopian fantasy. This is a documented reality of our digital world. The convenience that we love is a Trojan horse for a surveillance economy that has moved far beyond just showing you targeted ads for shoes. It's now influencing your loan applications, your insurance rates, the news that you see, and even emotional states that you actually have. So we're going to unmask this entire system. We're going to show you exactly how your data is being collected, what it's being used for, the harm it's already causing, and most importantly, what you can actually do to start disarming the weapon that's been built from your life's choices. Okay. Now, the original deal of the internet was supposed to be very simple. You get free service, and in exchange, companies show you some ads. But that deal has been rewritten quietly without you ever getting a vote. Then they throw it into your terms and conditions, and you accept them in order to keep using the product. The new bargain is far more invasive. You're no longer just trading your attention for contact. You are trading your autonomy for convenience. So think about that. Think about the last time you signed up for a new app. Did you bother creating a new username or password, or did you just click the friendly blue button that said continue with Facebook or sign in with Google? It's very seamless, real easy, but it's not just a login. It's an act of consolidation. You are basically telling Google or Meta, here, go ahead and connect this new piece of my life to every other piece you already have. This is going to be the first step in building your digital weapon. These tech giants operate massive ecosystems designed to keep you locked into their system. Your emails, your maps, your photo storage, your video streaming, when they all live under one roof, they don't just exit side by side, they talk to each other. Your Google Calendar knows that you have a job interview. YouTube knows you've been watching videos on salary negotiations. Google Search knows that you've been looking up the company's financials, right? And Google's ad network also knows exactly when to serve you an ad for a new suit. That's the simple version. And you got to understand how wild this gets, because if you guys were here yesterday and everybody who was chasing the tailwind of the third term political debates, you're going to see a whole different crowd here today. Those of you who come to this show on a regular basis, you're probably going to get shown this show on your for you page and everything to that effect a lot more often, right? The more complex version is going to be that every piece of data feeds a monstrously detailed profile to the internet. A recent FTC report confirmed that major tech companies collect staggering amounts of data, including your location, even when an app is idle. Your biometric information and your personal preferences, all sold to through their AI, and it's going to fuel the AI and any personalization engines that the AI uses. This isn't just about making services better, it's about creating a predictive model of you, which makes it easier for them to sell you what you want. All right. This model doesn't just know what you do, it's designed to predict what you're probably going to do next, who you might likely vote for, whether you're likely to default on a loan, if you're at risk for a certain medical condition. Are you feeling lonely? Are you prone to impulse buys after 10 p.m.? Profile knows. The defenders of this system call it personalization, arguing that it makes our lives better. But privacy advocates call it what it is: surveillance, extensive surveillance. Your data isn't just a record of your past, it's being sold as a map of your future, complete with a guide to your psychological triggers. You think logging in with Google saves you time. You're handing them the keys to your digital identity, allowing them to follow, record, and analyze you across every corner of the internet. It's less of a bargain and more of a surrender, right? So, how is this weapon actually built? Where does all the ammunition come from? This is your data. It happens on three levels: the obvious, the semi visible, and the completely invisible. So, first, the obvious collection. This is going to be the data that you knowingly hand over, which is your name, your email, when you create an account. the photo that you use to upload, the friends that you add to the link when you link your contact list. You know what's happening, and it feels like a fair exchange. Second is a semi-visible collection. This is going to be the digital exhaust that you create just by using a service. It's going to be including your usage analytics, which features you use, how long you linger on a post, what you search for, even how fast you scroll. It includes technical data like your IP address and device type. And of course, it includes cookies and tracking pixels that follow you from site to site. Most people have a vague sense of this happening. You've seen the cookie banners, you know you watch history effects, and you know that those effects will influence your recommendations. The concept isn't totally alien to you, but it just kind of slips by you. Then there's the third level, deep and invisible background collections. This is where the true scale of surveillance becomes terrifying. This is data collection that you have no real knowledge of and almost no control over. It starts with a cross device tracking where companies use signals like your Wi Fi network and browsing patterns to link your laptop, phone, and your smart TV into a single identity, even if you're not logged in. Suddenly, something you searched for on your work computer shows up as an ad on your personal phone. It gets deeper with the smart devices. That smart TV is likely using automatic content recognition, ACR, to identify everything that you watch from your cable box, your Blu ray player, and your gaming console by scanning the pixels on your screen and reporting it back. Your smart speaker is even worse. A 2024 study by Surfshark highlighted that the apps for these devices can request a shocking amount of data, and in Alexa's case, the app asks for permissions to access 28 out of 32 possible data points, including location, health information, and, of course, your voice recognitions, which are often reviewed by human employees. But the most insidious forms of collection is inferred data. This is where algorithms act like a digital fortune teller, creating new facts about you out of thin air. For example, data brokers can infer you're pregnant based on you buying certain lotions and supplements. They can infer your political party based on the news that you read. They can create even a mental health score based on the music you listen to and what time you're active online. This inferred data is then added to your profile and sold as if it were facts. Single data point seems harmless, but when your morning jog location is combined with your credit card purchases, your search history, and your streaming habits, it creates a profile of a terrifying, accurate assumption of who you really are. The architecture of a modern tech isn't built for your privacy, it is a machine designed for relentless, invisible extractions. Once your raw data is harvested, it enters a massive industrial assembly line. The data broker market is already a huge industry, valued at over 300 billion in 2026, and it's on track to exceed 450 billion by the end of the decade, right? This industry's sole purpose is to refine, package, and sell your life. And this is where your data is forged into a weapon. First product is the behavioral profile. Think of it as a digital dossier. And this dossier contains not just who you are, but how you live. Data brokers buy your information from thousands of sources. the apps on your phone, your credit card companies, public records, and even your car manufacturer. They then use algorithms to merge all of this into a single unified profile of you. Now, this profile contains your demographics, your lifestyle, green customers or fast food lover, right? Your financial details and even your health information, all bundled into one package. Your wearable devices tracks your sleep patterns, but that data usually isn't protected by health privacy laws like HIPAA. So while some health services do voluntarily comply, most consumer gadgets don't have to. So that data can be sold and used to infer things about your physical and mental health. Your profile might contain a depression score or a propensity to purchase score for hundreds of products. There are data brokers that specialize in creating lists of people with specific ailments, from diabetes to cancer. The second product is going to be a set of predictive scores that's going to be even worse than the first set of scores. Your profile is going to use these scores to generate a predicting algorithm of your future value and your future risk. Insurance companies are a prime example of this. They're increasingly using data from your car, your fitness apps, and other data points to calculate your risk score. Like, for example, a lot of insurance companies are fine tuning their algorithms to determine if you are a driving risk by having either devices connected to your car. There he is. He said, I just got my phone charged. I'm here. Now, I don't know why you, with all the phones you got, don't have at least one of them on a wireless connection where that bad boy, you just sit it down and it just charges itself up. Then I don't understand why you ain't got one of them solar panel chargers where you can just put it out in the sun and just let it charge itself. Then I don't understand why you don't have a car charger where it's just plugged up into the car charger and it's charging while you drive. Then I don't understand why you don't have all of those things where your phone never goes below 80% because it's always on the charge. But it's good to see you, Stephen. We're following up on some of the issues with cybersecurity, and how like we're actually free willingly giving away a lot of our information, and how they catch up to us by following the data points based on our volunteered usage. And I was just talking about how the car insurance companies are offering discounts on your insurance policy so that you can voluntarily give them data tracking your vehicle's performance. Some people are offering the little OBD2 reader that you put into your car, and then some people have you download the app and on your phone, and then most people only have one phone. So wherever that phone goes, that's how they track your movements. And then you determine whether or not certain movements are you riding in a car or you driving the car. And that helps them fine tune the algorithm based on user performance to determine what your interest rate should be. Right? That's crazy. Um, I downloaded one to my phone, and that's not my primary phone. So when I decide to do something stupid, I leave that phone at home. I put enough miles on it so that I can keep the 100% premium. There is a 30% off premium, and I get 100% of that discount. But I make sure that when it's about time for me to get out there and do something reckless, that phone ain't going with me for those purposes, right? Uh, Steven said, I threw it in the backpack off the charger and it didn't charge last night. So I had to borrow someone's charger tonight. You have a short in your power supply, which means that you have to get you a second charger. I think I've got 20 or 30 chargers in here for 4 or 5 devices. And I honest to God be cycling out 2 or 3 devices off of like one charger. I got like one, two, three, 4 chargers here that can charge cell phones, one phone on the charger, another one not on the charger, laptop's always plugged in. I go from plugging it in right here in this room to plugging it in over there in the other room. I just remember when I told you guys I changed out cars. They had rewired the electrical system in the other car, and that was fantastic because the other car used to not have functioning cigarette lighters, and I was like, nah, I'll change the fuses one day. No, it was a short in the electrical wire. So when they rewired the car, I got two cigarette lighters. So now I can Bluetooth my cell phone to the car while plugging it into the other cigarette lighter and keep the phone charged. So I can drive and listen to music at 150 miles an hour and not lose 95% power on my phone while blasting my own personal soundtrack from YouTube in my car. Steven says, I break the speed limit way too much for that. Well, I break the speed limit too, but the algorithm currently isn't tracking how fast you're going. It's currently tracking your RPMs. So it's tracking how quickly you accelerate and how quickly you decelerate. Quick accelerations imply high risk driving because you'd be racing. Quick decelerations imply either crash avoidance or potential collisions. So if you're doing um like split second takeoff from the light and instant stops, hard braking, then you would be considered a higher risk driver. But if you had a moderate acceleration to 150 miles an hour and then you were just coasting down the interstate for 55 miles at 150 miles an hour, never having to slow down, not getting pulled over, nothing like that, it would just show a consistent speed of you zooming across. He said, "You mean the government is spying on us?" No, actually, the irony is, okay, so the government is spying on us, but this isn't about the government spying on us. So here's the thing: the government is paying attention to us on the CCTV cameras, the ATM cameras, basically any camera that's outside, they're watching us, right? Now, the people who are spying on us inside of our house, the ones that wiretap their cell phones, taking control of our cameras while we're watching this podcast right now, eavesdropping on our phone calls when we call people in the house, that's big business. That's not the government. They're watching what we say and what we do so that they can try to sell us something, right? The stuff that we talk about, you'll notice that after you got off of my podcast, so many different ads that came up similar topics to what we were on here for 3.5 hours with yesterday. Kenny said, so it's all pretend. I don't understand your question, Kenny. Uh, what's pretend? Um, because from my observation, Steven not charging his phone is not pretend. Him speeding, me speeding, Michael speeding, not pretend. Government watching us, not pretend. And your data being collected by third parties without your consent, not pretend. So what is all pretend? It's late, no worries. No, I saw your question, but I don't know what it's referring to because when your question popped up, I was talking about um, the difference between using my device for reckless operations versus not using my device for reckless operations. So I don't understand if you uh okay, yeah. It was called plan control. Reckless operations, plan control. Well, if the government is watching, uh, if the government is watching what we're doing, uh, then yeah, they can plan to control what's going on. But it's a prediction, and a prediction is a hypothetical. Oh, you're talking about reckless driving is plan control. Y'all are using terms. I'm sitting over here like, what is it referring to? Because I'm talking quick, and your comments aren't popping up as quick as I'm talking. And I know you meant it for a reason, and it probably was a funny dive in, but it's like soon as I read it, I'm like, that doesn't match with what I'm talking about. I don't want to take their comment out of context real quick. Yeah, right oriented. So the oh yeah, oh yeah. the being spied on and all stuff. Yeah, that is playing control. So we were almost on the same topic. Yes. So big business, that is playing control for them to watch what we're doing, monitor everything that we say and do, and then report back to us with products that we can buy. I know there's a lot of ads that show up on the show to random individuals. People catch ads, and when they catch those ads, they're like, "Holy shit!" Just this and this with the ads, and it's because what you're watching on YouTube is going to trigger an ad from YouTube for similar stuff. If we're talking about something that can be bought, they're going to put up an ad about it. If we're talking about something that could be sold, they're going to try to sell it, right? That's kind of how it is. But it can be used for more insidious things. But right now, we just started talking about the topic because while you guys are falling in, we're just talking about the topic of how it actually impacts your personal information, where it kind of it takes your information and it sells to other people. Now, here's the funny thing, because if back in the day you used to get mail that it was like junk mail. We would call it junk mail, where they would have a congratulations, you pre-qualified for a car. Congratulations, you pre-qualified for a credit card. Those algorithms are it's the same thing. Congratulations, you qualify for a loan for a house, or congratulations, you qualify for a GI Bill. Call this number, right? It's a hot lead because an algorithm said that you're trying to apply for a loan. So now they're going to send you advertisements saying, "Hey, you pre-qualified for a loan. Call me. I'll give you a loan." And then you're going to call them because you need money, right? Steven said the only ads that get me are pizza ads. It doesn't mean that if you look at certain things on social media, they will put up an ad for some of that stuff. If you look up too many cars, they'll start putting up used car ads. If you scroll through like weapons, they'll start putting up weapon accessory ads. If you're looking at a bunch of girls in lingerie, they'll start showing you clothing store ads. Stuff like that. It's just it's not perfect yet, but you'll notice that if you look at 5 or 7 different things of the same genre or same topic in less than an hour, you will find that ads similar to the content that you're looking at starts coming up trying to offer you shit that you don't want. Michael says, I'm targeted with Depends diapers. You should be targeted by funeral homes, life insurance policies, death benefits, Medicaid and Medicare should be calling you with plan A, B, C, and D. All kind of stuff with you, Michael. He said, I literally bought something and then I pulled out my phone and got an ad for the exact same product. Because just in case you didn't like it the first time, here goes another one. Put enough pizzas on the screen and I'm calling Pizza Hut. But I be trying to get them bastards to deliver. Shoot. Before I call people, look, as much as I love me some Pizza Hut and some Domino's, I will get me some DiGiorno pizza in a heartbeat, bro, because I can get DiGiorno dropped on my doorstep at 5 o'clock in the morning, take my dog for a walk, bring it inside, stick it in the microwave, and heat that bad boy up. Yes, I said microwave. I had a big ass microwave from Walmart. I could put a supreme pizza in that bitch. 6 minutes later, I got me a damn good pizza. Fuck a oven. Put that bitch on pizza. Look, the microwaves are so advanced these days. You push the button that says pizza, put the pizza in the oven, close the door, and then it's gonna just keep doing its thing, and then it's gonna beep, and you got this big ass pizza, perfectly cooked, crusted and everything. Take it out of the microwave. Living large with the microwave pizza. Hey, it's one step above ramen noodles. Microwave pizza, top ramen, Red Bull, and Monster. I'm trying to tell you, the college life, anything's better than a McDonald's cheeseburger. So these guys are increasingly using data from your car or your fitness apps to calculate your risk. Driving a little too fast, your premiums might go up a little bit. Don't hit that 10,000 step, You could be charged a higher rate for life insurance on your next premium renewal. These scores extend to nearly every part of your life. A credit worthiness score that goes beyond your official credit report, a fraud risk score. Fraud risk means that you are at risk of being defrauded, not just you being fraudulent. And that score is used by a bank and even an employee churn. This employee churn score predicts how likely you are to leave your job. So think about every time that you've quit a job. Back in the day before technology, Michael, you know, Stephen, you know, when we used to quit a job, the only people who knew we quit the job was the people we worked for and the people we told. Today, every time you are unemployed, you go back into the census of unemployment individuals. Every time you get a job, you go into a category of employed. Whenever we're in unemployed, we broadcast it by filing for unemployment. Whenever we're unemployed, we broadcast it by filling out applications on application websites to find another job. That data shows the job we used to have, we no longer have. That's why we're looking for a job. The frequency in which we look for a new job, right, indicates how often we don't have one. Which means that if you're changing jobs every 9 months, you're likely high risk to quit this job. So an employer might look at that and be like, "No, no, we ain't gonna hire him," unless they're desperate, and that means that they have a high turnover ratio, which means that there's a low work ethic, not low work ethic, low employee satisfaction, and that's why they have a high turnover. So they'll take anybody. But if you're looking for high job quality and they're looking at high stability employees and you change jobs every 9 months, you have a new job every year, it's been 20 years, you've had 30 jobs, they're not going to hire you. Because in my 20s, I would job hop a few times a year. Yeah, I had two, three jobs at a time, all in the same industry, but I would go from this place to this place, go back to the last one. They were short staffed. I got hired on the spot because I'm already experienced. I used to work there. I just didn't like the management. Management got fired. I come back. That's how it works. You can't do that these days. You're going to be judged. You're being judged by an algorithm based on data that you didn't even know was being calculated, right? Now, the final most dangerous product is going to be manipulative systems. Now, this is the fully assembled weapon. The detailed profiles and predictive scores are plugged into AI systems designed not just to persuade you to buy shit, but to manipulate you. Now, social media platforms are masters of this. Their algorithms aren't designed to show you what you want, but what will keep you engaged the longest. An FTC report highlighted how these platforms can exploit user vulnerabilities, using your data to identify your emotional triggers and feeding you content that keeps you scrolling, often by making you either angry or anxious. Right? This is personalized persuasion at a scale never before seen. It's an automated system that knows your weaknesses. So if it knows that you're trying to save money, it can show you a once in a lifetime deal that triggers your fear of missing out. FOMO. If it knows you're feeling insecure, it can flood you with uh, stuff in your feed with images of perfect bodies to sell you a diet pill. And with the rise of generative AI, this is getting even more potent, enabling hyper personalized phishing. That's going to be scams with voice clones to deceive you. We talked about that last time, creating a whole identity of somebody else and then passing it off to somebody else. You no longer just a customer being marketed to by somebody else. You are the subject of a massive ongoing psychological experiment where the goal is to control your behavior for profit. Now, this can all sound abstract, maybe even a little bit paranoid, but the harm is going to be very real and it's happening right now. Shows up in four key ways: cybercrimes, psychological manipulation, discrimination, and the chilling of free expression. Is that the only thing that could work other than pizza is wings? That would get me too if it's enough for them. Well, that's not true, Steven. You've got a Toyota. You can get ads for buy this new Toyota, even though you don't want one. You can get ads for discounts on mechanics for used cars, even though you don't need that. You can get ads for Car Shield because your car should have more than 100,000 miles on it. So they're going to sell you an aftermarket warranty on your car. Windshield wiper blades, tire commercials, oil commercials, all because you own a car. You got a cell phone. You've got more than one cell phone. You've got an Android and an iPhone. So you should have seen the new iPhone release. You should have seen commercials for the new Samsung release. Those are ads just because you have a phone. It's not working on you because that's not your interest, but you're targeted because you own a Samsung, and then you're targeted again because you own an iPhone. You used the phone, and those data points went to another company to offer you some stuff. I just had my vision doctor that I haven't seen in 2 years call me and leave a message just to schedule a new appointment. I didn't know. Yeah, my prescription needs to be updated, but it needs to be updated closer to when I renew my driver's license. Because who the fuck's gonna pay $1,000 for glasses? And then in a few years, when it's time for me to renew, I gotta pay it again. It's like, nah, that's all right. The prescription has to be valid within less than 12 months of using it to renew your driver's license in order to skip the vision test. But they know they haven't talked to me in a while. So they're gonna call me and say, hey, can you come down and do X, Y, and Z? Why? Because I'm a data point that they haven't seen in a while, right? That it's going to get you. Um, you're having issues with your phone. You're going to see accessories for sale that you didn't even think about. You're starting to buy new clothes in different places to change your attire. You're going to see clothing stores out there, men's suits, dress casual outfits, new shoes that are sometimes it's going to be sneakers and stuff, but a lot of times it's going to be because you're looking into dress shoes. They're going to start giving you ads for dress shoes at discounted prices. They trigger you not just to get things that you want, but to compel your emotional insecurities to get things that you don't need. Like those of us that are wrestling fans have always seen that what is that championship, whatever belt guy, the commercial with the WWE title, get your own custom WWE title. They're all over the place, right? Just because we turn SmackDown on a couple times a month, right? It happens without us even knowing about it. You can go to a restaurant more than once and get a restaurant ad on your device simply because you stopped off at a couple of restaurants. It sometimes can be the same restaurant, but sometimes it can be a different restaurant, more expensive restaurant, more classy restaurant with a discount on it, where you might go to like Ruby Tuesdays for the same price as Olive Garden. And you're like, shoot, I ain't been to Ruby Tuesdays in a minute. It's going to compel you to spend money in ways that you otherwise would not have spent money. One of the marketing tools for sales is to jack up the price, then slap a discount on it and advertise that discount. They were going to charge you the regular price anyway. But let's say for example, you can buy $25 of food from McDonald's and get full, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to raise the price to say $35. Then they're going to say during this time, $10 off any purchase of $25 or more. But it's not going to be an exact $25. The way the stuff works itself out, it's going to be right around $29 plus taxes, but they're going to take $10 off. They sold the food for the exact same price it would have sold the food had they not put the rebate up there. But the mentality of the broke-minded individual is I'm getting it cheaper. The sales of buy three get one free. If it's $100 a tire, you spend $300 for four tires instead of $100 a tire for three tires. Buy three get one free, right? But if it's fucking $87 a tire, you buy four tires. You know what I mean? It's still almost the same price with taxes, right? So it's the fact is that they can overcharge on the product unnecessarily and then slap a rebate on it. Now, the funny thing about it is if you don't want the rebate, pay for the inflated cost. For example, iPhone 1695. But if you activate a phone line that you don't need, you can put $600 down today, pay $35 a month, and we will credit your account for $35 a month so you don't have to pay. You know what that did? It locked you into a 24-month contract without actually locking you into a contract. Took the $600 from the phone because they're legally only supposed to sell you the phone for $799. And then you got a phone that you're leasing from them technically, which also bypasses the mandatory law where they can't sell it for over $799. Then they're going to give you the incentive to say trade your old phone in as a down payment towards another phone. Now, you've held this phone for at least a year. You've put at least 50% down on the phone, the $600 up front plus about $400 on the back end for monthly payments, right? You owe about $400 left on the phone, right? There's nothing wrong with your phone, mint condition, right? You trade the phone in, they're going to give you a credit of about $400 to maybe $600, right? Which is what the fuck you gave them when they first gave you the damn phone, right? They're going to put that down. The $400 that you gave them for the phone initially, that's gone, right? Now, you give you an upgraded phone. They're going to resell your phone to somebody else. And because it's a used phone, it's going to be just cash up front. They're going to flip that phone. So now they're not selling their refurbished phone for 1600. They're selling the refurbished phone for 800, which is $200 more than what they credited you for. But folks are going to buy it cash up front because it's a replacement for their original phone. Now, you've got a new phone, and they might even still make you pay a little bit of taxes on it, but you got a new phone. You gave them $400 over the last year. You're about to give another $400 for the next year. And every time your phone is no longer inside of the first 12 months of life, you start getting ads and stuff like that for a new phone, the next iPhone, the next Samsung, the next this, the next that, the next Google Pixel, all this other stuff. This is what they do. Steven says the last one I bought, I found from an ad. I kept searching for a RAV4 during the pandemic, and they were all over the place. Oh no, they were all overpriced. So I saw one way below market and drove out and saw it and bought it in that same week. Now, right, that's going to be some of the same things. I told you guys before. This is how you manipulate the market. So I know a RAV4 is going to go for an expensive price because RAV4s hold their value. One, because they're Toyotas, right? Two, because the people who have Toyotas take better care of their fucking cars. It is what it is, right? So outside of a smoker that's going to stain up the car and burn seats and stuff like that, that most people take good care of their cars when they have a Toyota because Toyotas last forever. So they're more, or that's the reputation. So people are more motivated to take care of their car when they have a Toyota. So the value of the car is going to be higher. Now, buy that some bitch from the auction. I ain't got to put too much into it because people usually take care of their Toyotas, right? So all I have to do is charge twice as much as what I paid to get it from the auction, but $1,000 or $2,000 less than the average car sold in this area. So the RAV4s are going for like 8,000. I'll sell mine for 6. But I bought it out the auction for like 1,500 or 2,000. So anything over $4,000, I made double my money. I could put it up on the market for 6. You can come with the intent to negotiate. Who gives a fuck? I was expecting you to negotiate anyway. I'm going to make you feel like you did something. You're going to talk me down to 5. I still made a $3,000 profit. I put it higher than what I needed to put it at so that I had room to haggle for you so that you can feel achieved. I made the sale, I doubled my money, and I undersold everybody else in the market. It's doable. It's doable. It takes a lot of work though in order to have a used car dealership built like that, but it is doable. The only thing that you need is the make and model that somebody is looking for at the time that they want a car. And with Google Ads and YouTube videos and TikTok videos, and now you got car dealerships promoting their cars on social media. Like they have a whole channel just to say, look at the cars on my lot today, right? And car enthusiasts get to see that. And that's free advertising. They don't have to pay Meta 100, 200, $300 a day to run ads for them. They can just live stream from their dealership, walk the lot, doing inventory with a cell phone and show this car, this car, this car, this car, that car. When you take the car to go clean it, oh, let's put it over here. Let's get a couple videos of it. Let's get a video of the engine running, put it up on social media, and let the fans do their thing. Few 100,000 views of people watching cars come off of the lot every day, right? And some people are going to hit us up in the comment section and actually want to buy the car. The car is being advertised all over the world now, not just in the neighborhood. So the frequency of sales is going to skyrocket from free advertisement because everybody who likes cars, who has looked at a car, is going to trigger the algorithm to show them more cars. It is what it is, right? So you can't really avoid all of it, but there is some stuff that we can do, and we're going to get into that today. Let's talk about first thing cybersecurity and cybercrime because that's what Stephen was asking me about a few weeks ago. Now, every database full of personal profiles is going to be a gold mine for hackers, right? So when these systems are breached, and they are constantly breached, your data is what we say that your digital dossier falls directly into the hands of the criminals, right? This is the biggest problem. This is my biggest concern, right? Now, we've seen this with hacks of company like Ring, where intruders got access to indoor cameras and terrorized families. We've seen scary movies built off of this because they're based off of true stories. That wasn't just a security failure, it was a privacy failure. The video feeds from inside a home should never have been so easily accessible. Data brokers themselves are a massive engine for identity theft. When your name, address, and date of birth are compiled and sold, it becomes trivial for a criminal to impersonate you, which is why it's so hard when your identity has been stolen for you to prove that you are who you say you are because somebody else was saying that they were you until you realize that they weren't stealing your identity. You know, nobody questions the first person that says, I'm the real Slim Shady. They question the second and third person that steps up and says, I'm the real Slim Shady. It is what it is, right? Criminals are now using AI to combine real and fabricated data from these breaches, as we talked about last week. And the result is a massive surge in automated fraud that's overwhelming digital systems. So your data is going to be the raw materials for these attacks. Second, manipulation and addiction. Because as we've covered, the business model of many platforms is to maximize your engagement. They do this by designing their products to be addictive. Features like infinite scrolling and autoplay are not accidents. You know, when you reach the end of a TikTok reel, you try to scroll and it kind of locks for a little bit and then it buffers and then it starts re-scrolling some more because you ran out of shit. If you've ever been scrolling on YouTube, you saw me 40 minutes ago and you're seeing me again. That's because you've hit the end of the reel. I'm at the top and the bottom of your For You page. So if you're seeing me again, they ran out of videos and they put you back on my platform. That's what happened. The faster you do scroll, the faster you end up back on this platform. There's no accidents. They're engineered to exploit the same dopamine pathways in your brain as a slot machine. So the algorithm learns your vulnerabilities. If you're prone to political outrage, it's going to feed you outrage. If you're lonely, it's going to dangle connections while keeping you scrolling. If you're lustful, it's going to dangle lust in front of you, right? Doesn't matter what kind, because a lot of folks are in the midst of lustful thoughts, might see an attractive chick on social media. Oh, and link her there for a little bit, right? Then you go from the hot adult chick doing her dancey thing in the feed. Then you got the celebrity doing a water dance, shaking her booty cheeks on the screen, and then you end up with a bunch of kids up there shaking their booty cheeks on the screen. You got the little tiny tots up there bouncing their tatas on the screen, and you're sitting over here wondering. Now you're in outrage because you're like, "Whoa, that's old enough to be my youngest daughter, and she's over here bouncing around on social media. Where's her parents?" See the outrage, the time it takes for you to comment how this is inappropriate to be on my For You page. You notice something. There's never a button on TikTok to thumbs down the content. You either watch it or you scroll away. That's it. you know, it's crazy. This is why study after study shows a majority of us feel that we spend too much time on our phones because we fucking do. Look at how many people have been here for the last hour and 6 minutes. And some people popped in, left, and came back. So you're still doom scrolling for the last couple hours. Third, maybe the most insidious, is discrimination and exploitation. The data profiles being built or used to sort people into winners and losers. So this part's going to really piss you guys off. This is algorithmic discrimination. Every search, if you've ever searched for a product and you've seen the price change, when you search again later, that's dynamic pricing. Retailers can use your data, your location, your browser history, even your device type to guess how much you're willing to pay and adjust the price. This isn't new. A well documented investigation that ran for years found that Target's app could show a higher price for an item if it knew you were physically near one of its stores. Just this year, Maryland passed the first bill in the nation trying to stop stores from using personal data to charge different people different prices for essentials. This discrimination goes far beyond pricing. Job ads can be targeted to exclude older workers. See, Stephen, you and I, we're getting there. We're getting there, right? Housing ads can be steered away from certain neighborhoods. This creates a society of digital redlining where opportunities are granted or denied based on the secret judgments of an algorithm with no transparency and no way to appeal the decision. Finally, there is the chilling effect because when you know that you're being watched, you change your behavior. You self censor, you might hesitate to search for information on a sensitive health issue or a controversial political topic because you don't know who is logging that search as something else. Special shout out to Joe Jack. He said, "Yo, I got my stash account. Good. You got 5 days left to dive up into that. Soon as you get in there, go to the stock party on the app. Since you done logged in on the app, I'm gonna go to it right now. I'm gonna tell you where to go. Uh, Hold on. See, bioprint. They watching me. They watching me, man. So on the app, what you got to do is first when you log in, you're going to see at the top of the My Stash page, which is the little house page. Um, you're gonna see the total value, which should be zero because we ain't done nothing yet. You scroll down and you're gonna see personal portfolio, Roth IRA. Before that, you're gonna see your streak and stash rewards. Real quick, Steven, if you haven't done it yet, You see stock party. I know you did the stock party, Stephen, but below that it says learn and earn. If you go there, there are 12 little things. And I think I told you about this before, Stephen. There's 12 little things that you do. It doesn't take that long. It's like 2 or 3 clicks, and each one of them will give you a stock, like 12 or so of them, free stocks that they give you just by learning a little bit of stuff about stocks right now as soon as you get on the app. Then you have the stock party, which is going to be right there below stock back rewards. It's going to be below the button that says maximize your rewards. You don't need to maximize your rewards. You can just do the basic because, I mean, going from $3 to $9 a month makes no damn sense. What they say they're going to give you $330 a year, yeah, you're going to spend more. Just stick with the basic, right? And then go to stock party. And when you go to stock party, all you got to do is just click it. You click it. It's got 4 days, 23 hours, 25 minutes, and 52 seconds left. So if you click it and you get you some free Tesla stock for today, so you got to get in there, right? Uh, He said, hey, we ain't old. We're seasoned and in our prime. You're right. We are seasoned in our prime. But you know what the problem is, Steven? Is that while we're seasoned in our prime, we're in a position where it's hard for us to get jobs, change the way we do jobs because we're seasoned and we're in our prime. We find ourselves in a position where if you want to middle finger the job that you're going on, it's harder for you to do it because you're seasoned in your job. If you love your job, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of an issue. But if you hate your fucking job and you wish your job would burn to the fucking ground, it is harder for you to switch jobs because the discrimination that's happening on the apps. They don't want you to go anywhere because you're too damn old. You got certain people that are looking for 18 to 25. And since that's what they're looking for, until you get 18, they're not going to offer you the same shit that they're going to offer the other kids. Is that I now have to refer at least one person a year. No, 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 no. The refer thing says that you have up in a year's time that you can refer up to $1,000 worth of people at $30 a person, which 10 people is $300. That's like 10, 20, 30, maybe 35 or 40 referrals a year to get the whole $1,000 worth of referrals. Um, and you get an extra $1,000 of cash for getting other people to join the app. All you got to do is just pass by people that you know that could really benefit from the shit that we do and be like, hey, I'm seeing improvements in my money. You can too. Download this app if you want to. Send them a link, right? It said just one will do to cover the cost. No, two will cover the cost because it's $32 a year, so you need $60. uh, but you'll find that it's easy. It's easy to do to when you're talking to people that want to improve themselves. It's easy to tell somebody, hey, I'm making money off of this motherfucker. You can too. And anybody who wants to make some motherfucking money is gonna be like, well, what do I gotta do for that? And you show them. And when you show them, they're gonna be like, oh shit, send me a link. And then when you send them a link, they're gonna jump in it. They're gonna give it a swing. And when they give it a swing, they're gonna be like, oh man, that's what's up. And they're gonna be very grateful for it. But they get $30, you get $30. Whether they use it or not after they upload it and put their money down on it to start doing some transactions doesn't change anything for you. You got your $30 and you can just keep investing. But when you pass back by that person and you really want to see them improve themselves, you're like, hey, I seen that you logged in. I got my $30. You got your $30. What did you invest in? Now here goes some stuff that I was investing in, right? But matter of fact, let me show you real quick. I want to show you real quick. Because I can't put it on the screen. Look, 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 look. I'm gonna go down the list. So we have look at all they were giving free stocks away, bro. They were giving free stocks away. I'm not joking. They were look at all tons of stocks. They were just giving away free stocks. This is the portfolio, bro. I didn't buy these. I only bought like 19 of them. The other 40 stocks is the one they just kept sending me free stocks. I'm like, dope. Now, granted, there's not a lot of money on each one of these stocks. There's like 10 or 12 cents, 15 cents on each one of these stocks because they handed me a stock. But because I've got like Match the Market, Delicious Dividends, uh, Foreign Heavyweights, Amazon, uh, Alphabet Incorporated, Class A stock, which is Google, Microsoft, Costco, uh, Berkshire Hathaway, bonds nationwide. I got all kinds of stocks that they just gave me for nothing, right? And then the ones that I told you guys about. So there's a bunch of stocks. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, Stephen, real quick, that's very, very important for your ability to be successful with those free stocks. First and foremost, do not, under any circumstances, sell those stocks that they give you for free with within the first 90 days of them giving you the stock. So to give you a stock this month, you kind of want to hold on to that stock for like 3 or 4 months. Then, when you decide to consolidate your portfolio and say, fuck this stock, that's when you sell that stock. So, yeah, they're going to give you 12, 15, 20 cents, depending on whatever it is, because they gave you like less than a quarter worth of free stock. There's not billions of dollars of stock that they're giving you at one time. But the principle of the fact is that for every dollar worth of stock they gave you 3 months ago, the dollar worth of stock that you can sell and put it where you want it to be and improve your core satellite portfolio. So your high octane dividend distributing growth stock portfolio. You know what I mean? So yeah, that stash app is where it's at. I'm actually and the upside. Did you use the upside? Free app gas right there. That's just like free app. You get discount on gas. I just got a what was it? What was it called? Hold on. Car advice. I was disappointed with car advice because car advice I thought was an actual gas card, but no, it's a rebate card. I was pissed off about it for 4.95. It which I can make my money off of that, but it gives me 5 cents off on the gallon for using the card through the card. But it's not as good as Upside because Upside can give you 14 or 24% and it's free. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't have to pay for a card. You have two ways of doing it. You can scan the receipt, or if you GPS your location at the pump, it automatically calculates your promo as long as you get the gas on the card within the timeline of I think 1 or 2 hours of you pinging that location, and they just put your rebates up there on the app. But you keep your receipt, take a screenshot of your receipt, and if in the event that the rebate doesn't show up, you contact customer service, send them a screenshot of the receipt. They put the rebate on your phone. Then when it's time to cash out, and I usually just cash out once a month, but you can cash out whenever you want to, and send it to your PayPal account or wherever you decide to send it to, and then you can use that cash to put more gas into your car. I mean, the difference between like 10 or 12 cents off between using like Walmart membership and this car advice thing versus like 14 or 20% off going somewhere else really depends how much is the principal gas price because you will pay at the pump and they will reimburse you for what you paid. Now, the difference between paying at the pump and getting a reimbursement through Upside versus what I did with car advice and the Walmart gift card is that they discount or rebate the 5 cents off, where they take it off of the price before you pay, so that you're not paying that amount. So if it says 385 and they're supposed to take off 10 cents, you're actually only going to pay 375. It's not going to give you back 10 cents. Upside, if it's 385 and they're going to give you back 15 cents, you're going to pay the 385 and then it's going to give you back 15 cents. That's the difference. You got to pay attention to that. It's not a scam. The gas prices are the fucking gas prices. But if you're going to go somewhere and get 21 cents a gallon back, you might as well go somewhere and get 21 cents a gallon back. Now, back to the AI, where they're keeping you logged in simply because you search for certain stuff. This is going to have a corrosive effect on your intellectual freedom and democracy. Why? The constant surveillance is going to create an invisible prison where the walls are made of data and the bars are the fear of being judged by an algorithm that you can't see or even understand. So, if this system is so harmful, why do we all keep participating? Well, why do we click accept all and use a device that are actively spying on us? It boils down to three things: engineered addiction, deceptive design, and manufactured necessity. First, these technologies are addictive by design. The seamless convenience creates a low friction experience that feels essential once you're used to using it. The immediate dopamine hit of a notification makes it psychologically difficult to opt out. Tech companies have masterfully framed privacy as an enemy of convenience, forcing a choice. And in the moment, convenience almost always wins because the terms and conditions requires you to surrender your freedom to your privacy in so many different words. They have like a 50, 75, 120 page terms and conditions contract. If you do not agree to any term or condition, they will not allow you to benefit from the software that they're offering right now. So you have to 100% surrender, right? That's the only way that you can use their stuff. And because you want to use their stuff, you almost always do it, right? Second, the system is going to be built on deceptive design, often called dark patterns. Privacy policies are famously long and filled with extensive quantities of legal jargon. A 2024 FTC report called out this lack of transparency, noting that users often have no idea what data is being collected even after agreeing to the policy. The consent process itself is often a sham. You're presented with a cookies banner and an accept all button that is large and green, while the reject option is hidden behind extra clicks and a confusing menu. It's a privacy theater, a performance of giving you control while the data collection continues away. Third, and most powerfully, is a manufactured necessity. In many cases, opting out isn't a realistic option. Your job may require certain software. Your kid's school may use specific apps. Your social life might be centered on a platform all your friends use. To refuse is to risk social and professional exclusion. You aren't making free choices, you are being coerced. 2025 survey showed that despite the increased adoption of smart home tech, trust is declining, with many users admitting they have no idea how their data is being used. This mix of addiction, deception, and coercion creates a powerful inertia that keeps the data flowing. So let's get specific. Where are the biggest threats in your daily life? This isn't happening in some abstract cloud. It's coming from the devices that you use every day. The smart home. Your home is supposed to be your private sanctuary, but it has become a huge privacy risk. It starts with smart speakers and cameras. As mentioned, the app for Amazon's Alexa requests access to a huge range of data, including your precise location, contacts, and health data. And yes, they store your voice recordings. Ring, owned by Amazon, also not only records your voice, but also collects data on when you are armed and disarming your system, building a perfect schedule of when your house is empty and when it's not, right? But it goes beyond that. Smart TVs log everything that you watch. Smart refrigerators can track your diet. Even an incestuous smart light bulb can be a major security risk. A compromised smart plug can give a hacker a backdoor into your entire home network, giving them access to your computers and your phones. And it's all being connected to create a unified profile of your life, both inside and outside of your home. Health and fitness techs. The data that you generate about your body is incredibly personal, and the health tech industry is going to be booming. Wearables monitor your heart rate, sleep patterns, and even blood oxygen levels. But here's the critical part. In most cases, this data is not going to be protected by HIPAA, the law that governs your medical records. This means that the company makes your fitness tracker, and that fitness tracker can also sell your data to a third party. Who's going to buy it? And then guess what? Insurance companies who might use it to adjust your premiums. So instead of you getting dirt cheap premiums that you might have would have qualified for just by answering the questionnaire, you got these super ass high premiums because they know stuff about you that you didn't know about you. Marketers who can target you with ads for sleep aids if you're restless at night. You could be working overnight, and just because you don't sleep when other people expect you to sleep, they'll be sending you ads for NyQuil and NoDoz and all this other bullshit. This is especially dangerous when it comes to reproductive health because data from period tracking apps can be sold and used in deeply evasive ways because you might be trying to improve your health, but you're also giving corporations a minute by minute ledger of your biological functions to be sold. This is crazy. Financial and shopping tech, which a lot of us use, even me. Every time you swipe a card, use a payment app, or join a loyalty program, you are feeding that machine. Your purchase history is a gold mine. It reveals your habits, your income levels, and even your life events. Buying diapers for Michael, you're flagged as a new parent or an elderly person. Buying alcohol late night, that goes into the profile too. And this is then used for incredibly precise marketing and dynamic pricing. Oh, see, he said, okay, I did the stock party. What was the other thing? Okay, so right next to the stock party, you should see, um, let me log back into it. You should see, uh, it should say learn and earn. If you click that button, it's going to have 12, 12 different short scenarios, little question and answer things. You don't have to get them right. You just have to go through them and you'll learn different things. One of them says power of regular investing. What is an ETF? How to diversify a portfolio. What is a bond? Weathering risk as an investor. What is a dividend? When is the best time to invest? What is stock back? Roth versus traditional IRAs? What is compound investing? How much should I invest? Building an investment strategy. You go through all 12 of those, and each time you complete one, it's going to give you some free stock. Like I said, it's only going to be like 10, 5, 10, 15 cents worth of stock for each one, but it's going to give you some free stock. And it with 12 of them, it should only take you 15 minutes to get. You've seen how it dumped all that stock on me, right? That's one of the plus sides of getting it in. Now, once because I know it's going to take a few days to a week for you to see those um test payments on your bank account. And then once you do that, and then you put those test payments into the app, and then put your first $5 up there, it's going to give you $30. So that way you'll have $35 to invest with as soon as you get that done. And I'll know because it's going to tell me that I'm gonna be like, hey, Joe Jack got his first $30 on the app. And around about that time, That's when I would take that $35 and put $32 towards the annual membership, uh, which will cover for the whole year unlimited trading. So you can buy and sell as much as you want. But if you ever come to the show or jump into our membership and you look at the stocks that we're talking about that we were talking about grabbing, you will see the dividend values, you will see the share price, and you will see the payout scale and be like, damn, this might work for me, and you'll be able to see because all the stocks that I'm grabbing you is either monthly or quarterly dividend payers, where it's every month you're getting something from the majority of these stocks, and you're in a position where it actually makes more sense to invest this way because you can see results every month. And a lot of the stocks, like the ones I covered at the last week of April, there was different stock paying out every week. So if this for the month of May, there's a different stock paying out every week. So if you had those stocks and those are monthly payers, then you would be every week getting a dividend return from one of the stocks that you buy shares in. And that actually goes, you go from getting paid once a month or getting paid twice a month to getting paid every single week. And when you start building your portfolio where each week you're getting $1,000 or $2,000 off of dividend returns, you now have a guaranteed weekly paycheck where you can say, fuck my job because I'm going to get paid next week for my brokerage account. You can keep your job, but you can also, you have an alternative. So if you're one of those guys that get furloughed because the government sucks, you got a second income, right? If you're one of those guys that really needs a vacation because you really hate your job, but you really don't want to quit, but you racked up a lot of PTO time, you got a few dozen sick days, and you got a couple weeks of vacation coming up, and you want to use all that shit at the same time, I mean, this is the time to knock all that shit out because you can keep getting paid off for your job, pay time off, putting extra money into your brokerage account, rest and relax. If you decide to go back, you go back. But if you can manage to take off a month to 2 months of work without having to go back, you might just say, "Fuck this job. I'm making enough money off my brokerage account." But at least you get a break. At least you get a rest, one way or another. Now, and then let me know, Joe Jack, if you need anything else, because we also have in our membership. I think our cheapest membership is like $3 a month. But so much financial information goes into that membership every day or every week, every month out of the year. There's so much financial information that's going in there, how to do all kinds of things that you will be able to see so much different stuff, so many different links that will put you in a position where you can do your own research, not only verify what I'm telling you is true, but also find a strategy that best fits you where you're like, fuck, I wish I knew this 10 years ago. Because if I would have knew this 10 years ago, I would not be where I am today. But in 10 years, we're going to be traveling the world. And y'all going to be like, dang, he's doing it. And I'm like, yeah, I told you we were going to do it. You know? Now, if y'all, back to the main topic though, if y'all remember that Tim Hortons coffee chain in Canada, in 2023, it was revealed their app was tracking users everywhere they went, paying special attention to visits to competitor stores. The goal wasn't just selling coffee with that company, it was building a complete behavioral map to manipulate their customers. So when your every purchase is logged and analyzed, you are no longer just a shopper, you are a data point to be optimized. So in order for them to convince you to stop buying stuff from the competitor, they will make certain changes. Like for example, McDonald's got that big arch burger. I know. I actually had to go down there and ask the girl at the register how big was her arch. And he was like, it's about the same size as a double quarter pounder with cheese. I was like, dang, that's a big arch. Uh, but um, they put all it was this. It is in fact the same size as double quarter pounder with cheese. Different toppings, different sauce on it. Same size meat though. Now, funny thing, it costs like $3 more than the double quarter pounder with cheese deluxe, right? So now you're paying $12 for a sandwich instead of $10 for a sandwich plus taxes, fries, and a drink, right? Now, go to Burger King, get you a Whopper, get you a double Whopper, get you a double Whopper deluxe, and get a veterans discount. And he takes $5 off. It's like, McDonald's charged me 50 cents for the cup, but McDonald's took $5. I mean, McDonald's charged me 50 cents for the cup, but Burger King took off $5 off the meal. So I'll pay $20 at Burger King instead of $28 at McDonald's. Hmm. Steven said Tim Hortons had only pork options for breakfast. That's a no go. You don't like pork options? I love me some pork options. Ham, sausage, crispy bacon with honey and caramel on it. You know, slap that stuff on top of a waffle. Order scrambled cheese raisin. You know I come from. Only time I slid into an IHOP was to get that sirloin steak strip. That was it. That's all I went to IHOP for. I didn't give a fuck about nothing else. Because everything else I could get it from Waffle House. You know, I used to go to Waffle House and order pancakes. They're like, you know, they don't sell pancakes at Waffle House. Yes, you just take the waffle and put it on the grill instead of putting it in the waffle iron. It's the same shit. Same syrup, same ingredients. You just gotta tip the cook. You don't do pork options for breakfast, Steven. Man, you're missing out. Because I can tell you right now, there is nothing better than taking three sausage links and wrapping them up with a medium bacon and dipping them into an order scramble and taking that to the back of the throat. Woo, no diddy. Cholesterol higher than the bit. Look, when I get my steak, I got to get my steak wrapped in bacon. When I get my pork chops, I got to get my pork chops wrapped in bacon. If I can get my burgers wrapped in bacon, guess what I'm going to do with my lobsters? Wrap them in bacon. The bottom feeders of the sea. Now, I know hearing all of this can feel very overwhelming for you guys, but it is not going to be a hopeless cause. This wasn't a whole show about the world is coming to an end. While the system is designed to exploit you, you are not going to be powerless. By being deliberate, you can significantly reduce your data footprint and start to disarm this weapon. You want to think of this as your personal disarming manual, and I put one of these in the membership. So we're going to break down the five key areas. You want to start with the foundation. If your accounts aren't secure, nothing else matters. So you want to use a password manager. Stop reusing the same password over and over again. Right now, you want to use a unique, strong password for every single account, even your dummy accounts. This is impossible to do on your own, so you have to use a manager password app like Bitwarden or 1Password if you're trying to store these passwords digitally. Now, if you're old school like me and Michael, old school, you'll have a safe at the house with a little black book that has all these passwords written down and what they go to, right? But these apps will generate, store, and autofill complex passwords for you. So if you're still trying to do the automated feeling of inputting your passwords, this would be one way to go about doing it. You want to turn on your multi-factor authenticity. Everywhere, MFA is the seatbelt of the internet. Pen and paper is the safest and securest way to protect yourself, to be honest with you. Yes, you can have somebody break into your house. Yes, you can have somebody run off with your safe. Yes, if they have your safe long enough, they can break into it and get your passwords out. But the only time somebody will come to your house to take something out of your house is if you tell somebody that you have something in your house worth taking. So, mentality of the millionaire, do not brag about your success. You do not brag about your money. Yeah, we could talk about investment opportunities, but we're not going to brag about how much money is in the safe in our house. We're not going to brag about how much weed is in a vault in our house. We're not going to brag about how many pills that we have in a big duffel bag in the safe under the floorboard in the back bedroom. That sounds a little bit specific. You understand what I'm telling you? We don't talk about what's going on where we're at. Okay. Females ask you how much money that you make, enough to take care of myself and maybe two or three other people, but you're not going to give them a specific dollar value. Why? Because how much money I have access to is none of your fucking business, right? So we need to stop projecting our personal selves. When you're talking to police officers and they ask you for your name and your birthday, you can give them your name. You can give them your birthday. They can ask you for your address. That's none of their fucking business. They don't need to know that. Every law that requires stop and identify doesn't even require your birth date. It only really requires your first, maybe middle, and possibly your last name. That is it. Because you have identified who you are. All of the extra details that you give them might better help them find you in the system, but you're not legally required to give them any of that. You are legally required to give them your first and last name at minimum. And if you give them your first, your last name, and your driver's license or state ID number or passport number, which is why I memorize these things. I memorize these things so that I don't have to pull my ID out of my pocket. You want my information? Pull out a pen and paper. I'll tell you what the ID number is. You can run the system. That's all you need, the ID number. And just to make sure on the body camera that I'm not violating the law, I give you my first and last name and the ID information. You will verify that the name on the ID is the name that I gave you. And that is all you're legally required to do, is to verify that the name I gave you is the name on the ID. I don't got to give you nothing else. So you don't need my social security number for you to put it in your police report, which is public record. Oh, y'all didn't know about that part, huh? You don't need my birthday, which you put into the police report, which is public record. Now, guess what that does, though? I don't have to be involved in a crime. I could be a witness of a crime, but because I was at that location, that public record shows that I was at a location of a crime. Now, when we start talking about life insurance and stuff, if you are witnessing violent crimes frequently, that makes you higher risk for a life insurance policy because you're more likely to be in a dangerous situation. It's a data point nobody ever pays attention to. So, pen and paper, best things for you. Write down the important information that you don't keep on none of your cell phones. Lock it in a safe in your house. Those are going to be the passwords that you only use when you're at your house. Those are not the passwords that you take with you when you travel. Okay. That's going to be the first step. But you want to activate your MFA. This is going to be your internet seatbelt. Even if someone steals your password, they can't get into your devices without a code from an external device. It can be your cell phone, but it doesn't have to be your cell phone because if you do the MFA tracking system, it could be set up to a tablet. It could be set up to a phone you don't use anymore because like Samsung, they don't go out of style. So you might have a phone from 10 years ago that you disconnected from your phone plan, but you never got rid of the phone. But if you connect the phone to Wi-Fi, the fucker still gets notifications, right? If you keep that phone is the vault to all of your shit. So when somebody steals your password, they can steal your current active phone and try to do whatever they want to do, but that phone doesn't have the biometric print. That phone doesn't have the MFA. A whole other phone on the other side of town has the MFA, which means they can't get into your system. Backup plans, guys. People don't think about this. They're like, oh, it's the extra phone. I'll throw it away. Or the other side of things, put it in a drawer, leave it in a bag, put it in a box, stick it in a closet, throw it in the storage unit. Forget about it and let that old phone die. Reactivate all the new stuff to the new phone and just do everything from the new phone. But do you know that your archaic phone can be a super vault to your personal identity using this MFA feature? Because the MFA feature comes in a lot of different ways. Some biometric print, some they give you a PIN number that you have to put into the other phone with a limited period of time. Some you have to identify the number that they put on the other device. So they might give you a 2-digit number and put it on the other device, and then you got to select that number on the device that you're using. There's different ways that it works. Not all devices work the same way, but the MFA feature should be on all your devices. This means that you got to be next to 3 or 4 of your devices at the same time in order for you to log into something, which means nobody can run off with your laptop because it's a paperweight since you didn't steal all the cell phones that are attached to the laptop. Yeah, a hacker can probably get into it, a coder can probably break into it, but you got to understand, criminals are sectioned off. The people that are going to knock you off and run off with your shit are not going to be tech savvy. The people who are going to be hacking into your system are not going to try to be seen knocking you off, running off with your shit. They're not the same type of criminal. The person that's going to knock you off and take your shit has to go find a hacker to hack into your shit after the fact. That's extra work. Criminals don't like doing extra work. That's why they're criminals. The easiest way to get to your shit is going to be the fastest route to success. And they're going to try to take the least effort and least response with the least recourse. They don't care about the felonies. They don't care about life in prison. What they care about is what's the timeline from the time I start this crime to the time I get caught, and how much effort do I have to put into it to get paid, and how much will I get paid based on the effort. That's what they're going to think about. If I got to steal all of your devices and then I've got to hack into all of your devices just so that I can log in and find out that your ass is broke, too many people are going to try to put in that kind of effort. Might as well get a fucking job, right? So you want to enable this on all of your emails, all your bank accounts, and your social media accounts first before you do anything else. Use app-based authenticators like anything over SMS codes whenever possible. So you want to use the Auth over SMS codes. I know Google has this authenticator that they give you where it's like every 60 seconds they give you a new code. And if the authenticator is on one device and you're using a different device, you got to go retrieve the device that the authenticator is on in order to get the code, right? You want to update your software as often as possible because those update notifications that you always ignore, you got to stop ignoring those. They contain critical security patches. They enable automatic updates on your computers and your phones and your apps that you're currently using, uninstalling any apps that you're not using, and clearing out your cache for anything that you don't use. Do not keep a plethora of apps on your phone that you do not use. Those are, ironically, security breaches. An unpatched device is going to be an open door. Your phone is likely your biggest data leak. So it's time for you to audit those leaks. You want to lock down your locations. Go into your phone's privacy settings and review every app that has a location access. Change the settings from always to while using this app or never. And then when you decide to turn it back on, when you decide to use that app, then you turn it on. For apps that have no business knowing where you are, you want to turn that shit off. You want to keep it off. While you're there, you turn off your main location history for both Google and Apple so that they can't track you, right? They don't know where you are 24/7. You want to turn for every email that you create, each one of those is going to have a Google map scenario. It's going to have a Google location scenario. It's going to have a GPS tracker scenario. You want to go into each one of those fuckers that's located on your phone and turn each one of those fuckers off. You want to review your app permissions. Go through your apps one by one. Does that game really need access to your contact list? Nah, don't give it to it. Does that social media app need your microphone to access it? If you're just looking at videos, you're not talking to nobody, it doesn't need to use your microphone. Be ruthless. Revoke any permission that isn't essential for the use of the app. Right? And we're talking about core functions, not upgraded features. Right? Reset your advertising ID. Both Android and iOS have a unique ID used to track you across apps. You can reset this. On iOS, you want to go to settings, go to privacy and security, Apple advertising, and turn off personalized ads. On Android, you want to go to settings, go to Google, ads, and tap delete advertising ID. Your web browser is going to be a window to the internet, and it's going to be full of spies. Get rid of that shit. Anybody in a relationship, if you get rid of that shit, if you're not only don't save your browser history, delete your advertising ID, they can't do anything with you, right? There's no information there, or very little information if they do get some information. Then you want to switch to a privacy browser. So when you consider switching to a privacy browser like Brave, which has built-in tracker blockers, and then you have Firefox, which isn't as good as Google, but it does have its perks. It has a robust privacy protection that you can enable. Install key extensions only. And so if you stick with the mainstream browsers, you want to add extensions like an ad blocker, uBlock Origin, a tracker blocker, privacy badger, and one of the uh, most encrypted forces that helps with connections, HTTPS everywhere. If you HTTPS whatever you're trying to do, it takes you directly to whatever you're looking at. I know that a lot of times you might put it into the search bar, put some shit in there, and then it switches you to freaking Yahoo or Bing or Duck or something like that web browser. Yeah, but if you HTTP directly to where the fuck you want to go, it's gonna take you directly to where you want to go. You want to use burner emails. I've been telling y'all about burner emails all the time. When you're signing up for a new service that isn't part of your primary lifestyle, you want to use a burner email. Don't use your primary email. You're a gamer, you want to have an email dedicated to gaming. You're a shopper, you want to have an email dedicated to shopping. That is not your gaming email. You want to have an email directly set up for car maintenance, an email set up for you know banking or whatever the case may be, whatever you're doing, online banking. You want to have a specific email directly set up for your contact list on your cell phone, right? That's like 5 different emails. But you want to use a service like Simple Login or AnnoAddy that forwards your real inbox any information from those services. If you add that to it, everything else, the address is going to get sold or spam. You just delete it. So I'm going to say that again. Using services like Simple Login or AnnoAddy forwards your real inbox information that you need. So if that address gets sold or spammed, you just delete the information because that's a drop email. That's a burner email. That's not an email for a specific business. Now, your home network is going to be the digital front door to your life. So you want to add some locks to it. Create a guest network for smart devices. This is going to be powerful. Log into your home router settings. Go to the settings now and create a guest Wi-Fi network. You want to connect all your smart devices, your TV, speakers, everything to this guest network. Connect only your personal computers and phones to your main trusted network. This puts them on separate networks. Now, if you're smart, uh, if they plug if one of your smart plugs gets hacked, the attacker is going to be trapped on the guest network because your smart TV is on your guest thing, your smart radio is on your guest thing, your smart sound system is on your guest thing. The hacker gets caught on the guest line, not the primary line, right? And they're unable to access your laptop because anything on the same network can get hacked, right? So you want to put them on different networks. You want to disable unnecessary features. So you want to go into the settings of your smart devices, turn off any cloud services or data sharing features that aren't going to be essential. You can turn off data sharing features and cloud services that are essential when they're not in use. Mute the microphone on your smart TV and speaker when you're not using them. Use a VPN on public Wi Fi at a coffee shop, airport, or hotel. You are on an untrusted network. So if you use a reputable virtual private network to encrypt your traffic and hide it from snoopers, you prevent them from getting what they aren't supposed to have. Now, the final and most crucial principle, simply give them less ammunition. Think before you share stuff. Before you post that photo or fill out that survey, ask yourself, who's going to get this data? How could it be used against me? You want to decline optional fields. If it's an option, I don't want it. When you're signing up for services, only fill out the required fields. Anything that's optional, don't fill it out. They don't need your primary phone number. They don't need your job title unless it's absolutely necessary. You want to delete old accounts that you're no longer using. And you want to think about all the old accounts, all the unused accounts that you have. Each and every one of them is a liability because you're no longer monitoring them. So you want to make a habit of finding those and deleting them at least once a year. Anything you haven't used in the last 6 months, you want to get rid of it. This isn't a one time fix. It's going to be an ongoing practice, but every step that you take weakens the weapon that's being aimed at you. One of the reasons why I'm hard to find on social media is because even though I have this live podcast, how many different ways do I access the internet off of multiple different devices with multiple different login styles? To the fact that I am not one entity, I am plenty. Kind of hard for them to pin me down. While these steps are essential for self defense, we can't just play defense forever. The system itself is broken. The burden of privacy shouldn't be on you. It should be on the companies that profit from our data. This requires a fundamental shift in both technology and laws. So first we need real laws with real teeth. We need comprehensive privacy legislation built on the principle of data minimization, legally requiring companies to collect only what is absolutely necessary. And these laws must mandate privacy by design, forcing companies to build privacy into their products from the ground up with massive fines for violations. Second, we need technology shift towards privacy enhanced technologies. The good news is that they do exist. Things like federate learning allows AI models to be trained without your personal data ever leaving your devices. The problem isn't a lack of alternatives, it's a lack of business incentive because the current business model of the internet is surveillance. We have to demand products built on a different model, one where the user is the customer, not the product. Finally, and this isn't a solo mission, we have to make noise together. So you want to talk to your friends and your family about this, support organizations fighting for digital rights, contact your elected officials, and demand that they make privacy a priority. Companies respond to two things: legal pressure and consumer demand. And this is going to be a fight for our digital future. So if you believe that privacy is a fundamental right, not a luxury, then you got to go take the first step today. And you want to go through the self defense guides and start reclaiming your data, which I put that self defense guide into the membership. So if this message resonated with you tonight, I want to make sure that you share tonight's show with somebody that you care about. You want to spread the awareness. That is going to be how motivation and movements began. The technology is in our lives and it is going to be a double-edged sword if we don't use them correctly. It connects us, it entertains us, and it makes life easier. But that same technology has been turned into a tool of surveillance and control, a weapon built from the fragments of our digital lives. We were convinced to trade our privacy for convenience, but we were convinced, never told, right? And since we were never told, we weren't told the true cost. The cost is going to be our autonomy, our security, and our fairness of our society. But the privacy is not going to be dead, not just yet. It's a choice, and it's going to be a fight. So it's going to require us to become more conscious and more skeptical and more demanding. Those of us that grew up in the old school before technology knows how to switch from a 2020 something or other down to a 19 something or other, because we know that it is nowhere near connected to the internet. It's nowhere near connected to GPS tracking, right? You just got to downgrade out of technology. Instead of having a smart house where Alexa will open doors or turn on lights and set the mood and adjust the AC, get your ass up and do that shit your damn self. Disarming the weapon starts with you today. By taking control of your data, you are not just protecting yourself, you are casting a vote for a different kind of future. A future where technological services was going to serve us, not the other way around, where we serve them. A future where our lives aren't for sale to the highest bidder. We're not being marketed bullshit that we don't really need. Now, that was a lot. I really appreciate those of you that rode the wave with us. We're gonna go ahead and wrap things up by saying, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm gonna keep asking you, ladies, to make it make sense. So, ladies, please make it make sense. Fellas, I give you this information to make you guys higher value men. Fellas, if you guys prioritize the things that are inside of your control, the things that you don't like, and make the necessary changes, you will start seeing improvements in your life where you can then start navigating around the things that you cannot control. Ladies, while this is a male driven podcast from the male's perspective, as we've just proven how everything that happens to you too. You can improve yourselves and make yourselves higher value women just by taking this information and utilizing it to manifest your 20 and 30-year goals. By reverse engineering where you want to be versus where you are, you can find out what you need to do today and start putting forth the effort and dedication to get that done. Now, if you keep your eyes and ears open for the kind of partner that is going to have the same drives and ambition, goals and integrity, the motivation, the personality and characteristics that you need to be successful, the one that has the similar goals, because they don't have to be the exact same goals as you, but y'all can head in the same direction. Those are going to be the type of partners that are going to benefit you for the long run. Because if you guys have the same long-term goals of investing in your future and minimizing unnecessary spending today, you can see yourself making it to $1 million in less than 10 years, 10 to 20 years. You'll see yourself at least creeping over $500,000. But it requires you to change the way you do you. It requires you to rearrange how you accomplish what you perform. Because if one of y'all is wasteful and the other one is investing, you're going to find yourself covering the spread. You're going to find yourself short in your family's overall income status. You're going to find yourself covering the spread, which is going to frustrate the two of you, and you're not going to succeed the way you want to succeed. So in order for you to make it to where you need to be at, you need to stop paying attention to short-term gratification and pay attention to long-term success. Now, that is all I got for you guys for tonight. Now, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Tomorrow is going to be a different country that we talk about every Wednesday. And then we got a lot of things going on for the rest of the weekend. And as I said before, if you haven't set foot into some of the memberships, you will be setting into some of the memberships coming soon. And you will see a lot of stuff going into the memberships over the next few weeks, making up for all the information that we covered in April that I didn't get a chance to throw in there throughout April while we had a large rollout in April. Make sure that you guys double check the membership and see all of the stocks that were on the watch list. As you've seen that watch list, they've been going across the screen all night. You'll be able to see all the stocks that we value and be able to select which ones that you would prefer to benefit from. Now, that is all I have for you guys for tonight. I'm your host, Xander. Thank you for coming to this and that. where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.